Good morning. Happy Monday. Oh, no, we're not quite morning. Good afternoon. Happy Monday. How is everybody doing? I will be going back this week to doing a few more myths and untruths about grief. But today I want to talk about something a little bit different, related. It links with those untruths and myths of grief, but it is about the inner work. And do you resist the inner work? Because I know when I was in the height of my grief journey, when I had lots of pain and trauma and upset and sadness, the last thing I wanted to do was the inner work. And I think there's a fear around the inner work. There's a fear about connecting into where we're at and what's going on. There's fear about doing the inner work, because if we do the inner work and we heal, does that then mean that we forget our loved ones, that we are just moving on and not honoring them, not being aware or not acknowledging what's happened and our losses and our grief? I know I certainly went through a stage where I didn't want to face my reality. I didn't want to face my losses. I didn't want it to be my story, and I didn't want it to be true. Whereas what I didn't realize was that wasn't going to happen because I'd healed. Me healing was about me being able to live again. It was about me being able to fully live in my life again and be happy and have a purpose and a passion and actually enjoy life again. That was what healing was about. It wasn't about forgetting. It wasn't about just kind of bypassing my losses at all. So it took me a long time to understand this, and I resisted it for ages, until one day I remember going to a counseling session, and the lady said to me, why are you here? And I said, because I know I need to acknowledge my losses. I know I need to deal with this, but I don't want to. And she said to me, don't worry, we won't do anything you don't want to. And it hit me that, hang on a second, I need to do this. I want my life to be better than it is right now, because it is totally and utterly pants. I know I need to do this. So I've taken that first step to see somebody, and it was one of the free counselling things you get. I'm not going to mention names because I'm not sure if that's right or wrong, but one of the free counselling charities that are around, and that's what she said. And I just thought, hang on a second, I've taken this step to be here because I know I need to heal. I know I need to do the inner work. I know I need to connect with myself again and acknowledge my pain and heal from that pain. And you've just told me I don't have to if I don't want to. And I was like, that's just been a real kind of, I don't know, it jolted me into thinking, I need to be thinking differently about this. I need to be proactive in this healing process, and I need to find a way that I can heal from the pain that I'm carrying around with me. And I learned through that healing journey that actually I can heal from the pain, and that is totally separate to forgetting or moving on, or there's lots of different phrases, and it's two very different spaces. And learning to heal was a game changer. Learning to heal from that pain of grief, it doesn't take the grief away. Grief doesn't just go. Grief, once you've experienced a bereavement, a loss, anything, any experience and change in life, it then becomes part of you. It's part of who you are and your life journey, your story. And it doesn't go away just because if it was painful, you've healed. If it was a happy experience, and then you go about your life as normal, and maybe you do forget about it for a while until someone reminds you, doesn't make that experience go away. It doesn't make the people involved in that experience doesn't go away. So I had to reframe a few things and I did that with some help. I didn't do that on my own. To be able to accept that help and heal from my grief, pain, and be able to live again. So that was quite a big step. It felt like a huge step at the time, and I needed to find the right people to do that with me. But one of the things that has been a really massive part of my grief journey is the mindfulness, is the inner work, is the connecting to myself and who I am and what I want. There has been a spiritual side. I'm not particularly religious at all. I don't actively go to church or I went to a convent school. I've been very much brought up in a religious environment, but actually where I have gone in my life has taken me down a more spiritual path, and that has served me for where I'm at. And I think actually my grief experience took me further away from religion. Rightly or wrongly, it is what it is. So connecting with myself and mindfulness and doing the inner work was really important on my healing journey. And for me to be able to find a place where I felt happy again, and I felt connected to myself and my world, and I could bring back relationships. I could connect with relationships and build them up again. I could enjoy life. I could step out into the world and enjoy it. So I'm curious as to who else does the inner work, who resists the inner work. Is there a fear around that inner work of acknowledging those emotions and feelings and being aware on a day-to-day basis, not even from a grief experience, but on a day-to-day basis, when emotions come up, how do you deal with them? How do you process them and release them from your body? Do you try and push them away? Do you just try and are you very logical and think, well, this is what I need to do. This is what's going on in my life. That's what I'm going to do. Or do you actually take some time to look into where that thoughts come from? Acknowledge what your emotion is at the time and what you're feeling, and release it. So there are processes to doing that, and I'm just really curious as to what is going on for you guys, because as I say, this was a big part of my grief healing journey, was to learn about connecting with myself, connecting with my emotions and thoughts and feelings, learning to let go of negative thoughts and feelings and bring in the positive ones, make space to have the positive thoughts, to choose how I wanted to feel in the moment. Shift my emotion if it wasn't serving me, if it didn't feel right, if I was feeling low or struggling with life at any given time. And now this has been amazing because, especially with lockdown, don't get me wrong, there's been so many ups and downs and it's been a new space to navigate, but it has very much having that inner work, knowing how to connect with my emotions, has supported me to get through the last year, has supported me to not feel totally lonely and depressed 24/7. So yeah, this is really about opening up that conversation about those thoughts and feelings and how do we manage that. And obviously with my talks about grief and how do you the myths and untruths of grief that I've been doing in the group recently, it connects to that, because the sort of myths of grief about, grieve alone and keep busy. I'm not sure I've done that one yet, but it's coming. Time's a healer. All those things. Time is not a healer. It's what we do with it. And part of one of the things we can do in the time that we are healing is not sit around and wait for time to make a difference. Is actually take action and acknowledge and heal those emotions and thoughts and feelings. Grieving alone, a lot of people do that, and some of that is a fear of being vulnerable a fear of opening up and connecting with others, a fear of embarrassment from putting our emotions out there to the world. So there's lots of things that go on for us. And if we're not connected to our thoughts and feelings, or at least aware of what's going on for us, then it can make navigating life through emotions and tough times and grief and loss so much harder. So let me know your thoughts about this. Do you do the inner work? If so, do you have a particular love of a certain type of inner work? Do you journal? Do you meditate? Do you do yoga? Do you, what else could you do? Do you spend a lot of time connecting with nature? Is that how you sort of ground yourself and connect with yourself? So really curious to know what goes on for you. Please put it in the comments, and I will be back on to go a bit deeper into this conversation later in the week. All right, guys, lots of love. Bye.